This is my presentation on Argentina. Okay, so Argentina. So about Argentina, el presidente está Alberto Fernandez. The capital is Buenos Aires. Currency is pesos, and the population is about 44.5 million. The political structure is a very middle political structure that's really not too uncommon with South American countries. Um, a lot of stuff goes on over there. A lot of corrupt stuff goes on. Uh, there are two main political parties: the Justicialist Party and the Radical Civic Union. Presidents have a history of being corrupt and overthrown, like I said before. El presidentes de Argentina están no bueno y muy malo porque decisiones de presidentes es problemático. People go on power trips. That's just kind of the way things are in countries like that. Um, Argentina once had one of the greatest economies in the world, but bad presidents, like I said before, they don't have the best political structure. Bad presidents and cost of living, like gentrification is a thing, it's an epidemic, and recessions hindered that, so they're no longer they no longer have one of the best economies in the world, sadly. I got this information Información este Global Edge y Google, and for that first slide that I did, I got those were my sources as well. Um, Important figures: Lionel Messi, mi favorita persona porque Messi está muy bueno a fútbol. Messi tiene 6 Ballon d'Ors. Messi es el mejor alrededor en fútbol. He's the best. He's the greatest around. I don't care what anybody says. I really don't want to hear about Ronaldo and all that other stuff. Um, Manu Ginobili, he changed the way how foreign players are perceived in the NBA. They're no longer really perceived as soft. It's evident with like guys like Luka Doncic. Manu was kind of like one of the pioneers in that. He's revered now. The Euro step, he like kind of like pioneered that. The reason it's so popular in the league today is because of him. And Eva Peron, she was an advocate for women's rights, and she was also an actress. Um, Nothing but respect for her. She just seemed to always, try to lend a voice. Sadly, women in all of society just do not play as big of a role as they should. They are not afforded the same opportunities as men, and she was a real pioneer in that, at least in Argentina. So definitely respect to her. R.I.P. Información este the culture trip. So some popular foods: bolas de freo, feina, and tortas fritas. Feina is also popular in Uruguay, and bolas de freo. Yo quiero comer porque miran gustar a un donut muy delicioso. I like donuts. I have a sweet tooth. These, if you see the picture down there, they kind of look like donut holes. So pretty attractive if you ask me. And I put fano in here because I'm a picky eater, and flatbread. I haven't really had a bad flatbread yet. Fana is really just flatbread with like onions and I think cheese on top. Um, Tortas fritas. The reason I was even interested in that is because it kind of sounded like las papas fritas, fries. But it's more so like more related to biscuits, and something that I came across while studying and looking up and researching for these foods was a lot of these dishes had either steak, asada as the main or side of a dish. So mucho asada a comer, but I'm not really a steak eater. I got this information from Taste Atlas. Um, so a breakdown of the languages spoken in Argentina. I was pretty thrown off by this because I can't think of too many countries with this diverse of languages spoken. Spanish number one, of course, 40 million, and then English is the second closest, but not by a close margin. at 6.5 million. Portuguese 3.6, Italian 1.5 million, Arabic 1 million, and the list just goes on and on. I thought that was really interesting that you see like thousands, like, and not even like like a couple thousand, like double digits, triple digits, like thousands of people speak these languages. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't really know too many countries like that, and I think that's pretty cool. Um, Three interesting facts. The tango was invented there. I'm not much of a dancer, but I thought that was interesting because it's just kind of like how many places can you definitively like say like we started that, like we originated that dance. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, Argentina is the birthplace of animation. Cartoons are my favorite form of media. I love cartoons. I've been watching cartoons since I was little. I'm 23 now. That's probably not going to change. Cartoons are a big part of my life, so it was definitely pretty interesting that not Walt Disney and all those other people that they tell you about that some of the unsung heroes in Argentina started that. I think that was pretty cool. And Argentina está casa a dinosaur viejo. Es muy interesante porque antes de no sé. Um, I don't know much about dinosaurs, but like I thought it was pretty interesting that like the oldest bones were found in South America, more specifically Argentina. I thought that was pretty cool because you don't really like get names with dinosaurs unless you're like hardcore into studying that stuff. You don't really get like names of countries with dinosaurs, so I thought that was pretty interesting that like the oldest dinosaur is the oldest dinosaur bones are home to Argentina, and I got this information from Think Global School. Some differences between Argentina and the U.S. Um, Argentina is sort of a time capsule. The cities and stuff like that haven't really been updated. The cars and stuff like from like the 50s and 60s that you see in like those movies. Those are cars you can still see on the streets. The streets have rarely been updated and reconstructed or modernized. Same for the buildings and stuff like that. So it gives it a really nostalgic aesthetic. The cities of Argentina. I think that's pretty cool. The weather is mostly temperate or subantarctic. I thought that was pretty interesting because here in the U.S. we have so many coasts, like West Coast, East Coast, the Midwest, the South, Pacific Northwest, stuff like that. Um, so we have different weathers. We have different weathers. We don't just have two. So I thought it was pretty interesting that Argentina only had two temperatures, really two weathers. Um, the U.S. is more prone to a natural disaster than Argentina. Like I said, I was doing research for this. As you can see, not too much goes on as far as like temperature wise and weather wise in Argentina. So the only real threats they have are like volcanic activity and earthquakes, I believe. Whereas in the U.S., we have earthquakes and volcanic activity as well. We also have tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, just a lot more. We're at risk to a lot more natural disasters in Argentina, which kind of worries me. Um, my last one, ellos viven más años en U.S. antes de Argentina. Uh, Male and females live longer in the U.S. than Argentina, not by a lot, but a couple years. I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, so some likes and dislikes I had about both countries. Me gusta las papas fritas de United States. Cocinas en Argentina tienen mucho asada. No me gusta asada. I'm a vegetarian. I became a vegetarian because I used to wrestle and it was easier to lose weight for wrestling and keep it down. So I've been a vegetarian for 7 years. Recently though, because there's not a lot of options around here, I added pollo to my diet, chicken. Um, but I was never really a steak eater before I was vegetarian, and like I said before, a lot of those dishes had asada steak in them. Either it was the primary option or a secondary option. Um, Ellos mirar y jugar fútbol más en Argentina. Me gusta fútbol mucho. I love soccer. Soccer is really fun to play. I wish I would have played more organized soccer growing up. Um, but like soccer is just like it's mania like in those European and like South American countries and stuff like that. they watch it, follow it, and play it way more than we play it, and I think that's pretty cool. I think it's really interesting. Soccer's a really fun sport to follow. Um, no fútbol americano en Argentina. No me gusta porque fútbol americano es mi deporte favorito. Um, yeah, pretty much. You don't really hear about football being played in other countries. I know like there was some in like the UK for a little bit. Obviously the NFL goes over there to London for a little bit. For like I think 1 or 2 games a year. I think they played in Germany. I think they play in. They definitely play in Australia. Australian rules football. I've heard of that. But rugby is more popular in those sports. They played it in Ireland, Gaelic football. But it's football is just like an American thing, and that's probably like one of the only things I really dislike about Argentina. Like, won't be able to play. Won't be able to watch any like football, any professional football teams. Um. So my last thing, Argentina aceptar muchos culturas en América es muy difícil a aceptar todas las culturas. No sé por qué, pero americanos están muy malos a aceptar personas de color. No me gustan, no me gustan, no me gusta. Me gusta todas culturas. That's one thing I always like really dislike growing up. I'm a very accepting person. I grew up in a very accepting family. Obviously, I'm a person of color, so I just thought that was like really interesting. There, like I said, there's a lot of languages being learned. There's a lot of more things to Argentina than just like Spanish speaking and the Spanish speaking culture, and I thought that was really cool. I wish we could be more accepting over here, but you know, you can't get everything you want in life. So yeah, that's what I found really interesting about Argentina. I really enjoyed doing this project, and thank you.